Welcome back around to theCUBE's live stream here at AWS Reinvent in Las Vegas 2025. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE. It's our 13th year at reInvent, watching AWS create the cloud computing category, abstracting away servers and infrastructure. Now we're on the agentic wave where abstracting away data and work, where agents will be the future. And again, a big sea change, almost a new kind of cloud, but the game is still the same. We have two great executives here. Mona Chadha is the Director of Infrastructure ISVs at AWS. Mona, great to see you.
See you.
Thanks for coming on. And Anna Pinczuk, who is the Chief Product and Technology Officer at SentinelOne. Great to see you again, both CUBE alumni.
Yes, absolutely.
Welcome back.
Great to be here. Yeah.
13 years of reInvent. Your 13th
My
too.
13th year at reInvent, yes.
A little pin, it says
I know,
10.
I feel like, where's my pin?
Anna, great to see you. I know that you just recently joined SentinelOne.
Yes.
We've had previous conversations where you were Chief Product Officer in other companies.
Yes.
Security is continuing to be the #1 focus.
Yes.
Even in the agent announcements of Matt Garman's Frontier agents, security's in there, of course DevOps and then Kiro. Our content security is the most popular. People are still dealing with a ton of data. What's the news with AWS? What's new for SentinelOne?
Yeah, so first of all, we've had such a long-term partnership and it's been really strong. SentinelOne is built actually on AWS, so think about our Singularity platform, our data lake, our Purple AI, which we're very famous for, and it's really the premier security AI product in the market. And so we've built a strong foundation with AWS. We've got 5 different things that we're doing together now, with Mona. So number 1 is AWS has the Security Hub, and we've got our SIM product. So we've integrated those. We have the ability to bring data from the Security Hub into our Singularity SentinelOne product and be able to look at security issues across the state, right? So being able to look at what's in the cloud, as well as what's at the endpoint on workloads, et cetera, and give our customers a much more holistic view, right?
Yeah, exactly, and it covers more surface area. So whether you're working in AWS, the AWS services, it's all within Security Hub, or you're working in SentinelOne, you now have a larger surface area where now the any potential attacks, you're able to get that visibility and then quickly remediate.
That's right.
Which is the beauty of what also has been built out with SentinelOne, especially with the AI capability that they have.
Yeah.
Mona, some of the best practices out there, we were chatting before we came on camera. Anna, if you can also highlight this, because one of the things that's come out of the keynote in the pre-briefings is Amazon has a lot of data on what's going on in AWS.
Yeah.
We have a ton of data.
You guys have a ton of data. Talk about that data, because the whole thesis is bring Nova or other models to the data for the domain expertise and the domain intelligence. This is going to be a big push of product releases, domain intelligence.
Yeah.
What data are you leveraging?
Yep.
Can you share insights into that?
Well, just imagine that every product that AWS out there, produces data, or you collect data, right, on our cloud assets, and then think about SentinelOne, where we have a SIM product, and then we're in endpoints, we're in workloads, we're sort of across a customer's enterprise estate. When you bring that information together, you're able to do much better triage, you're much better remediation, and really be able to accelerate that process of leveraging that data to actually take out, action and deliver an outcome, which is, a safer, more secure experience for the client. So that's the beauty of data. I think the other thing that's interesting is being able to have sort of an autonomous security operations experience, right? So not leveraging the data to actually not just ingest and have visibility to what's going on, but actually analyze that data, investigate that data, so have sort of the ability to provide that intelligence to an analyst, right? And then being able to serve up decisions and say, hey, instead of having to do the boring work of looking at, all that data yourself manually, being able to then say, here's some recommendations for you, right?
And
what do you want to do?
the coding stuff's helpful and all that.
Yes, exactly.
Agent work.
Yeah.
Talk about observability, because that's a theme here. Again, it's popping up. Observability was a topic, I would say would be a segment scope. Like it was a segment of companies, heavily funded. Now with AI is kind of an adjacent value there, where now with AI opens up the aperture
That's
for
right.
what observability means. It's clear in security. I think Chronosphere was acquired by Palo Alto, recent news, and some were questioning what that means. We were teasing it out by saying, observability is a data telemetry opportunity with AI.
Yeah.
So how do you guys see observability fitting in? Because that's coming fast.
Yeah, I'll say that from our perspective, what we've been seeing I would say for the past maybe 2 years is observability blend. So we're seeing data, data management, observability, and security all merging into one. And so now, it's not just about these typically they would be these point products. And it's like, no, they're all in separate applications. We all have to bring them together. So we're able to then, if I'm a security professional, again, I have that surface area and I'm able to see across all those different applications and all those different products. So we see a blending and a merger of those. And observability is a key component, which is, one of the reasons we built sort of these frontier agents that we have with Kiro, with DevOps, and with security, because that brings it all together. And so now observability has to be almost like native to your security solution. And that's like what we've seen working very closely with SentinelOne, is that bringing that into the equation, again, gives you better, it gives a security professional better data, better sort of knowledge of what they need to do, and again, better surface area to ward off even potential attacks.
Yeah,
You
so
can
yeah,
understand it better.
Kiro, autonomous coding,
coding.
you got the agent, DevOps, frontier
DevOps,
agent, security.
security, yep.
And so that's Amazon's version of basically automating themselves. So like, imagine having a dedicated,
Automating all those workflows,
all those
yeah.
engineers, like I'm on call all the time. That means they had kind of set those kind of
Yeah.
building blocks, maybe primitives in some low-level areas, but like now you're going to have agents.
Yep.
But you're building
Yeah.
on those agents. What are you
we
thinking?
we are building on those agents as well in a couple ways. So first of all, just going back to observability, we have our SIM product, which is our security incident and
response,
and,
yeah.
and response capabilities, right? And we have all the data that we collect in there. That's very adjacent to our endpoint, like our really our premier endpoint business, right? So all that data is coming in, and from an observability perspective, we're basically able to look at what's going on in an infrastructure and be able to take action on that. Now, the interesting announcement that we have now with AWS is with sort of our integration with CloudWatch. So
Yeah,
that's a good one because now we start to get data, not just security data, but
Yeah.
being able to look at data.
Explain the value of that. What does that mean?
Well, just think that, CloudWatch looks at assets that are really beyond security. So,
exactly.
It has access to more what an IT person
So
would see, right?
Exactly.
And so from an observability perspective, I think the
right.
power of this is to bring IT data, bring security data together.
Together, yeah,
Right? And
yeah.
being able to basically take action and look at the context and the enrichment of
it's
a
a smarter
security-
environment.
It's a smarter
Smarter
environment, more data, right?
Yeah.
That we're able to bring to the
and
solution.
it basically brings observability more native to security,
Yeah,
right?
that's
so
right.
now that's all, because it's all integrated.
So it's all assets.
It's all
Not
assets,
just
yeah.
the
Not
security.
just the
That's right.
security assets, but
Yeah.
just get visible. And I think that's what's the power of both organizations being
Yeah.
together, is that also we cater a lot to the CISO or the
Yeah.
security analyst, but
Yeah.
AWS caters a lot to the IT professional, let's say, so we're starting to merge that data.
Exactly.
Some
together.
people might not know that SentinelOne's built on AWS, so just clarify that. You guys are all on
Yeah,
AWS.
so basically, for I don't know, 3-4 years.
Yeah, it's been
like
5 years.
5 years.
overall.
So
yeah.
So we've basically gone all in on our infrastructure
Yeah.
on AWS. So basically, think of EC2 instances, or now we're turning everything to Kubernetes. So Elastic Kubernetes services.
Container native was a hot
Container
announcement.
native, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. So being able to containerize all that.
Yeah.
we put together another new announcement, which is really our MCP
Yep.
server
And Observe.
capability, right? So
Yeah.
that's built on AWS together with
With-
Bedrock and with
That's
Agent
right.
Core as well.
Yeah.
So we have the ability to bring in LLMs, and to build those agentic flows, leveraging
Yeah.
AWS. So basically, wherever you look,
Wherever we look.
we've been,
It's
we've been
a
a great partner.
Yeah, and it's a very tight relationship, especially on the product side. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we even have, former AWS teams that are part of SentinelOne.
That's
So,
right, that's
so
right.
it really brings the depth of sort of how AWS customers. So if you're an AWS customer and you're integrating with SentinelOne, and we have these solutions, the depth of your security posture is complete. To be very honest.
I'll give you another example
Yeah.
that's fun. I've enjoyed sort of seeing the number of integrations that
Yeah.
our teams have together.
Yeah.
So it's not just about sort of just bringing the data
No, yeah,
together,
it's
but
beyond
it's really
that.
thinking about the experience that
Yes.
an analyst or an IT professional would have
Yep.
with the platform. We've got over, 20 or so integrations with basically almost every service, like incident response,
So
and
all the
guard
AWS
duty,
security.
all
So you're
that.
tightly coupled with
Very
AWS.
tightly
We are.
coupled, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that we've tried to do now is how to make it much more seamless even.
That's
So
right.
we've recently announced an integration through identity and access management, so making it really a much smoother experience for the user.
Well, being the chief technology
Yes.
and product officer, you got to put the roadmap together. So,
Yes.
Anna, I guess I have to ask you, what's the roadmap look like for you, and how does this reinvent change or accelerate that? What's because
Yes.
coming out of this show, I mean, to me, this is one of those moments in the history of covering Amazon.
Yes.
I'd say the ground is shifting for sure, and it's
Yes.
Agent is the new cloud, but it's the game still saying infrastructure, platform, apps.
You
This
know-
is just AI native now.
Yeah, it is. And I'll tell you one thing that struck me. One is, remember how we used to think about, okay, you're going to be cloud first now, or you're going to be
Yeah.
mobile first now.
Yeah.
It used to be that. And now we're not really saying we're agentic or AI first. We're just going there directly. We're
Yeah.
building everything natively with AI, right?
yeah.
Which is, I think, forcing us as
Yeah.
technologists to really rethink what the experience and the speed needs to
Yeah.
be in terms of development. What it means for SentinelOne is looking at how do we deliver on the promise of the autonomous SOC, but doing so by bringing the intelligence of agents right into that experience. And how, by the way, you can't do security alone. Right? So
Well,
that's the other thing.
exactly. And kind of the way that we work very closely with Anna too is to say that, I think we both come from that shared sort of mode of, like you just said, it's like AI is inherent in us. And we don't even really need to say AI first because it's just native to
That's
how we
right.
think. And part of what we're also seeing is, a shift in, and we were talking about this
Yeah.
just, a little while ago, where CISOs have a seat at the table. They always have, but they have a louder voice. But what's also happening is that security is getting embedded into everything that you do, everything within AI. We have that sort of mental model in all of the AI services and solutions that we're bringing and across our stack. And SentinelOne obviously has that built in. And so now security, everyone can think about security, and everyone is now a security professional. And so the way that, as Anna was talking about the experience, is that we're trying to make it so simple so that,
And
yes,
reliable, you got to have security. Can't
Yeah.
be wrong. That ever.
And
yeah.
reliable,
And so it has to
exactly.
be reliable. It's all there. And so we're making it simple so that really it's democratizing it so that everyone can really use it and have used it. So
Yeah.
You know,
it's
one
great.
of the things, Anna and Mona, that I'm seeing, just go back in the past 2 years of all the CUBE interviews I've done, we've entered in this large-scale systems
Yeah.
game. Call it supercomputing, call it the Amazon factor, the NVIDIA factor. If you look at all the major breakthroughs,
Yeah.
the interconnects, putting Blackwells together, what you guys
Yeah.
have done with Ultra Systems and just Nitro, we've covered that. So all these little
Yeah.
infrastructure innovations have expanded that. And one of the consistent patterns in the ecosystem is radical co-design.
Yeah.
And the best winners are co-designing in their partnerships. Because in a large-scale system that you guys have,
Yeah.
and that's what NVIDIA is doing, that's what you guys are doing. So
Yeah.
it's almost a new biz dev ecosystem
It is,
strategy.
yeah.
It's not so much do a deal. I mean, marketplace is an easy thing to do with a marketplace, but to integrate, it's almost a co-design.
It is.
It
yeah.
is.
System
Yeah,
game.
we've sort of gone from sort of integration to co-build, to
co-build.
to co-design.
Right.
Even.
You
Yes,
see that
right.
as true.
Yeah, we're seeing it, and especially in a world where like infrastructure is code and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
there's an opportunity for us to bring not just our go-to-market organizations together, even our product organizations, but we've been having conversations about sort of engineering to
Yeah.
engineering organizations. What does it mean to actually build
But
in this
Amazon
world?
pioneered the shared security
Security
model.
model.
That's right.
That was what, like
exactly.
8 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Steve Schmidt put that out there.
Yeah.
So you believe co-design is critical in these large-scale integrations. So what's next on the co-design for you guys together? What's coming down the pike?
So there's lots of things that we're talking about. I mean, a lot of it starts
Yeah.
with the letter A,
A.
and I. So I think a lot of co-design will be looking at the experience customer in,
Yes. Yeah.
and really trying to figure out sort of how do we maximize the leverage of the data estate that we have and
Yeah.
create an agentic experience,
Experience.
which is a lot more novel, right? Because you don't have hard-coded dashboards or things like that. You really leave it
Exactly.
up to
Well, you got
each
deterministic
customer.
workflows, but also non-deterministic things are happening.
Things are
That's
happening,
right.
right? So you
You
have
have
to
to
merge, figure out how to merge.
That's a
that.
system play. That's not like a
It
gimmick.
is a system play, and that's why I think it's important for the partnership
Yeah.
aspect to really deepen, because you don't want to be integrating it's hard
Yeah.
to integrate a huge number
It
of
is,
partners
yeah.
into that ecosystem.
Mona, talk about how this translates to other ISVs, because obviously SentinelOne is in a
You mean
class
there
of their
are
own.
others?
Well, think startup. Like a startup doesn't have
Yeah.
their version of co-design is, I'm going to use S3 vectors and tables,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'll play around there and then see
Yeah.
where it goes.
Yeah.
They don't have the scale of an integration co-design,
Yeah.
but like for other partners that
Agents.
are watching, how should they be thinking about their
Agents.
version of integration?
Yeah. Well, I think to your point, they're not going to have the engineering organizations, or massive ones, or it might be an organization of one. And so what we're doing is we're building in agents and building these agents so that they can leverage them into their applications and build them quickly. And if they decide, hey, I want to build my own agent, great, we have that too for you. So Bedrock, that's why we have Bedrock Agent Core, and we have the series of the Frontier agents that we developed, and we are amping up. We have our compute that we announced. So that's why we have this sort of AI stack strategy that we have, so that we can really help startups run quicker and faster. But we'll be building them for them so that they can get up and running. So I would say stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
And then also there's a ton of best practices that they'll also see from other partners that are out there. So there's I would say between SI partners that are also helping startups get up and running quicker and faster. And of course there's AWS Marketplace, where AWS Marketplace is evolved, and I don't think of it as a transaction anymore. I think of it literally as a model, right? As an AI model that's really helping startups gain access to their end customers quicker and faster, and then getting those integrations. We're pre-building agents so that we can integrate into any of the systems that they have, so that they can get more intelligence about buying patterns and things like that.
We were joking with
from
Matt
their
out last year in the
customers.
marketplace. It's like Marketplace is now the console.
That
It's
is-
click, 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 and you just deploy
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
the
And it's
the
not
classic.
just for startups.
It's
right?
not
I
just for
mean, I
startups,
think
it's for everyone.
Yeah,
It's
companies
for-
like SentinelOne are
Yeah.
wanting to get access, in effect, to a
Exactly.
broad set of
Yeah.
company
Companies
sizes,
that can
right?
do
So
it,
that's
yeah.
It's a
another way to
revenue
do it.
producer for sure. And to talk about put a plug in for SentinelOne for the folks haven't had an update in a while.
Yeah. So
What are you guys doing? What's the momentum?
tremendous momentum. We just crossed $1 billion, by the way.
Yes.
So that's been great. We've been focused on AI since the inception of the company, right? A lot of momentum, really on integrating with AWS, on building our agentic capabilities, looking at what security professionals need, all the way from sort of identification, detection, through that whole experience to remediation, so the whole life cycle, and truly simplifying the experience for security professionals. I would say the second thing is really our security data lake and our AI SIM capabilities. Customers who, in particular, who have endpoint solutions with us, they want to, try to reduce the cost in some cases of their observability from a security perspective, and so we're seeing a huge amount of momentum in that as well.
So there's a lot, and I won't say re-platforming, but they're really looking at the system architecture.
I think they're looking at, how do they expand? They like the experience with SentinelOne, and they're looking at how to expand the experience. And in particular, I think what's important is we've been AI native from the start.
Yeah.
So how do you leverage the automation, in effect, the autonomous element, to more parts of your estate?
Yeah.
Well, the good news is, I mean, all those frameworks coming out, and you got the protocols,
That's
MCP
right.
and A2A, and then you got all those frameworks. There's a lot of choice for developers to code.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
That'll be a big
and
deal.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that even OCSF frameworks and other things that allow us
Yeah.
to basically, look at our data, query our data in new ways, et cetera, as well.
Well, Anna, you have the keys to the kingdom.
I
Chief
love
Product
it.
Officer.
Yes, I know.
Mona, you're great to see you. You've
to
got the
see
best
you.
ISVs. Thanks for coming on.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
see you
Great
again.
great to see you,
Yeah, I
John.
mean, the new co-designing is really the key to success in this next level. It's a systems game, it's systems thinking, and again, abstracting away data and work is where agents will do their thing. And this is the agentic era has begun. We're doing our part here at theCUBE, bringing the data. Thanks for watching.